everyone, Maya here from My Storybook, and welcome back to today's interactive read aloud. Today we are reading a book about being confident in who you are, being confident in sharing your story, being proud of who you are, and being excited to tell people all about you. This book is also a little bit about the first day of school, or going back to school, or maybe starting a new school, and how that can be a little bit scary, right? But guess what, my friends? As we'll see in this story, people are really excited to get to know you, the real you, and the best thing you can do is just be yourself. Now, I know that this year, we're not really quite sure what back to school is going to look like, if we'll be in schools or maybe still learning at home. But know that no matter what happens, you are brave and smart, and we will all get through it together, all right? You have your teachers, your family, and no matter what happens, I'm sure you'll still have a fun year of learning. If you've seen my background over here, I have all the school decorations set up. What kind of school decorations or things do you see in the back right there? Right, there's apples. Why do I have apples? Because sometimes you give apples to your teachers, right? Papers, pencils, scissors, notebook, erasers, all these things that you probably bring to school to learn, right? What are some things that you bring to school to learn, my friends? Those are great tools for helping you learn. All right, well, tap your head if you're ready to begin. Excellent. Let's get started. The title of today's interactive read aloud is The Day You Begin. Written by Jacqueline Woodson and illustrated by Rafael Lopez. So that means that Jacqueline Woodson is the author of the book. She did what? She wrote all the words, and Rafael Lopez drew all of the pictures because he's the illustrator. And the author and illustrator worked together to make this book for us. Words and pictures together. Speaking of pictures, what do you notice on the cover here? That's right, I see this little girl. It looks like she's walking through a door, right? She's opening the door. Where do you think she's going? Maybe into her classroom, right? We talked about how this book is about going back to school, first day of school. And I noticed that she's holding probably a new book. There's lots of these fun, colorful swirls. Makes me think school is a really creative place to be, in a fun, colorful place. And if I take a close look at her face, how do you think she's feeling? Right? We can tell how people feel by looking at their face, how their expression is. And if I look at hers, you're right, I see a little smile on her face. She looks kind of curious, right, about what the first day of school is going to be like. My friends, what are some of your curiosities or questions about going back to school? And I know especially this year you probably have a lot because school might look kind of different, right? What are your questions or curiosities? Yeah, those are really good questions. I have a lot of questions too about what going back to school will look like, but we're going to have to wait and see what the people in charge of schools decide. But if you have questions about how to make friends or what should you talk about on the first day of school, maybe reading this book will help you out. All right, let's get started then. So here's our title page. It has the title of the book, The Day You Begin, our author and illustrator, and the publisher of our book. The publisher is the one who helps make the book, put all the pages and cover together, and shares it for all of us to read. And the publisher of this book is Nancy Paulson Books. All right, and here I'm noticing that this is the same girl who is on the cover. Let's see what's going on. There will be times when you walk into a room and no one there is quite like you. My friends, can you think of a time where it was your first time going somewhere? Yeah, how did you feel that first time you went there? You could be excited. You also might be a little bit nervous, right? Because it's your first time there. You might feel a little different because you don't know anyone else yet. It's okay to feel like that, to be a little nervous. Let's keep reading and see what happens. Maybe it will be your skin, or the curl of your hair, or your clothes that's a little different. So I am seeing that this girl here, the girl in our story, is feeling different than her friends over here. How does she look different, my friends? It seems like they're talking about how she looks is different from these children. What's different about how they look? Right? These kids over here, how would you describe their hair? Their hair is very straight and hers is very curly, right? What about the color of their skin? How are they different? Right, hers is darker, they have lighter skin, and if I'm looking at what she's wearing, it's got a lot of colors, right? And do they have a lot of different colors on their clothes? They just have one color on their clothes, right? Blue, pink, and purple. And now let's look at her face. How does she feel now? Now that she sees that she looks kind of different? Doesn't really look that happy anymore, right? The smile is gone. She looks kind of almost a little sad and nervous still. My friends, have you ever been somewhere and you looked different than everyone else? How did you look different? And how did that make you feel? Or maybe, my friends, have you ever been somewhere and you saw someone who looks different than everyone else? Maybe you have someone in your class that looks different than everyone else? Well, I hope you're still friends with everyone, right? No matter what. There will be times when no one understands the words that curl from your mouth, the beautiful language of the country you left behind. So they don't understand the words. It sounds like maybe because they speak another language. My friends, do you speak another language? What language do you speak if you can speak another one? Yeah, so sometimes if you move from somewhere else to a new school, they might speak a different language than the one you speak. And my friends, imagine that. What if you went to school and you couldn't understand anything the teacher or your friends were saying because they spoke a different language? How would you feel? You would feel really scared, right? Because you didn't understand and really confused. Has that ever happened to you? It could. My friends, if someone came to your classroom who couldn't understand what everyone was saying, how could you help them? Those are good ideas. And if you're the one who maybe doesn't understand, my friends, well, you deserve to have a very helpful and kind teacher who will help you learn. Well, my name is Rigoberto, and we just moved here from Venezuela, where they speak Spanish. And because they don't understand, the classroom will fill with laughter until the teacher quiets them. Is that very kind to laugh at someone because they speak different? What should they have done instead? Well, they should have said hello, right? Or maybe asked the teacher if they don't understand. Rigoberto from Venezuela, your teacher says, so soft and beautifully that your name and homeland sound like flowers blooming the first bright notes of a song. But then the teacher says your name and she says it so beautifully, just how it's supposed to sound, that how does that make the kid feel now that the teacher says his name the right way? Happy, right? Because my friends, how would you feel if someone said your name the wrong way? It doesn't make you feel that good, right? You want to be called the right name. So when the teacher says Rigoberto's name, oh, look how happy he is. That's why it's important for teachers to know how to say their student's name. And if someone says your name the wrong way, my friends, make sure you correct them. Well, there will be times when the words don't come. Your own voice, once huge, now smaller, when the teacher asks, what did you do last summer? Tell the class your story. We went to France, Chila says. These shells come from a beach in Maine. A boy named Jonathan holds out a jar filled with tiny shells so fragile they look like they'll turn to dust in your own untraveled hands. My whole family went to India, Spain, South Carolina. Each souvenir a small triumph of journey. Their travels going on and on. So sometimes over summer, people travel all over the place, my friends. Do you travel over summer? Maybe not this summer because we couldn't really go much places, but have you gone other places and traveled over summertime? Where have you gone? Yeah. But, I see all these friends sharing, but what's going on with this little one here? Yeah, she's separate from the group. Why do you think she's sitting away from all the other friends, sharing about all the places they've been? Do you think she's been a lot of different places like them? Maybe that's why she's sitting on to the side, huh? And as you stand in front of that room, you can only remember how the heat waved, how it was so hot as it lifted off the curb, and your days spent at home caring for your little sister, who made you laugh out loud and hugged you hard at nap time. You can only remember the books you kept on reading long after she had fallen asleep. And in that room where no one else is quite like you, you'll look down at your own empty hands with no souvenirs from traveling and wonder, well, what good is this story when other students were flying and sailing and going somewhere? Oh, so did this little girl go anywhere over summer? What did she do instead? Right? She stayed at home, she took care of sister, she read lots of books. Sounds like she had fun with sister though, right? Because they laughed a lot. But why doesn't she want to share that with her friends at school? She doesn't think they want to hear about it, right? Because all her friends traveled somewhere else, that she thinks that's a lot more exciting than her summer. Do you have to travel somewhere to have an exciting summer, my friends, and a good time? No, right? You can be at home, and being at home can be just as much fun and exciting. Do you have little siblings that you have to take care of? Yeah. Well, I want you to think, what's something fun that you do at home? That sounds really fun. Oh, and now it looks like it is lunchtime. And what do you notice about this picture, my friends? That's right. I see a lot of friends over here, but then I see this one friend all by themselves. I wonder why they're sitting by themselves. Any ideas? Let's read. There will be times when the lunch your mother packed for you is too strange or too unfamiliar for others to love it as you do. Oh, so it sounds like she has a lunch that's different than everyone else's. My friends, what do you eat at lunch for school? And do other people eat that too, or is it just you that usually has that? Well, sometimes when kids see food that's different from their own, they think it's weird. But if someone's eating something different and you're not sure what it is, instead of saying, oh, that's weird, what can you say that's kinder? Yeah, you can say, oh, that looks good. I haven't seen it before. What is it? And maybe you should even try some, right? Because trying new foods is good. Well, when even your own friend Nadja will wrinkle her nose and say, what's in there anyway? And you'll wonder how she doesn't see the rice beneath the meat in the kimchi. You'll wonder why she doesn't remember that rice is the most popular food in the world. So I'm looking at her lunch and then her friend Nadja's lunch. And how are their lunches different? What are they eating? Right? Nadja has a sandwich and she has rice and meat and kimchi. Sounds like Korean food. My friend said, how does she feel when her friend says that about her food? What's in there anyways? She doesn't feel too good, right? She feels maybe a little embarrassed to have food that's different. But my friends, food is food. You shouldn't have to feel embarrassed about what you eat. If you like to eat something, that's great for you. So what's something this little girl could say to her friend to share how she's feeling? She might say, hey, you hurt my feelings when you talk about my food like that. It's really good, actually. You should try some. So if someone ever makes fun of your food, my friends, don't be embarrassed. Just tell them, well, I like it, and as long as I like it, that's okay, and maybe you should try some. And on this page, it looks like it's recess time, but I'm seeing what's going on here. Looks like there are some friends who are playing, but this boy's not playing. Friends, if you see someone who's by themselves on the playground, what's something you can do? Should go invite them to play, right? That would be a kind thing to do. I'm noticing that this book is sharing some things that might happen at school that might make you a little sad sometimes, but I think it's also going to teach us how we can feel better about it and not so sad. So let's keep reading. There will be times when climbing the bars are too high, the run is too fast and far, and the game is when you can't ever really play. I don't want him on our team. You can just watch. Maybe you can have a turn later. Does it sound like they are including him in their fun and play? Now, it sounds like they aren't really letting him play, right? Saying all these not so kind things. And how does it make this one feel? Probably left out and alone. There will be times when the world feels like a place you're standing all the way outside of. So you feel like you don't belong. My friends, have you ever felt like that? Like you don't belong somewhere? Like maybe you don't belong in your classroom, or maybe you don't belong with your friends who are playing this game you can't play? Doesn't feel too good, does it? Do you have any ideas of what you can do to help make yourself feel better? Those are some good ideas. Let's keep reading. And all that stands beside you is your own brave self, steady as steel and ready, even though you don't yet know what you're ready for. So even if you feel all these things, sad about being left out, if someone's making fun of your lunch, or you don't want to share your story, my friends, you need to remember that you are brave and steady and strong, and you are ready for whatever you need to do next. Whatever the world throws at you, you are ready. You are strong. Let's see. Oh, here's our girl again, and wait a minute. How does she feel on this page? A lot happier. Let's see why. There will be times when you walk into a room and no one there is quite like you until now where it tells me there's going to be a change. Until the day you begin to share your stories. My name is Angelina, and I spent the whole summer with my little sister. You tell the class, your voice stronger than it was a minute ago. Reading books and telling stories, and even though we were right on our block, it was like we got to go everywhere. So even though they didn't actually travel anywhere, they read all these books and they went everywhere. Books are magical, right, my friends? You can go anywhere when you read a good book. And what are some of the magical things they saw through their books, Angelina and her sister? I know, right? Look at all those amazing travels. They went to palaces and oceans with whales, skies, all through stories. So Angelina decided to share her story with her class, right? She decided to use her voice and share what made her excited and happy to do this summer. And let's see what the other friends think. What do you think the other friends are going to say when Angelina shares her story? Oh, what do you notice? They look like they're happy Angelina shared her story, right? Your name is like my sister's, Rigoberto says. Her name is Angelina too. A connection. And all at once, in the room where no one is quite like you, the world opens up itself a little bit wider to make space for you. So even though you might be a little different, the world is big enough for all of us, my friends. All of us to be our own unique selves and share our stories. So when Angelina shared her story, all of a sudden people are making connections, finding things they have in common. My friends, think of a friend that you have. What's something in common that you both share? Right? When you start sharing more about yourself, you realize what you have in common with others, but also what you have different too. This is the day you begin to find the places inside your laughter and your lunches, your books, your travel, and your stories, where every new friend has something a little like you and something else so fabulously not quite like you at all. The end. Oh, my friends. So when you begin to share your stories and share who you really are, share your laughter, share your own adventures with others, you realize again what you both have in common, and then also what's different, and how what's different is actually really special too, right? Because that's what makes us unique. So I want you to think about that same friend from the other page, and what's something you have that's different than that other friend. How are you and your friend different? Yeah, you can be different and still be friends. Because differences are what make it fun to learn about someone else and fun to hang out with someone else. So next time you maybe feel a little scared to share about yourself, remember, friends, that you are strong, you are unique, and people really do want to get to know you. All right? The end. What a beautiful story, my friends, encouraging us to be ourselves and reminding us to accept others for who they are too and to welcome everyone to be our friend. What was something that you liked about this story or that you learned from this story? Right? I liked how it talked about all these different situations that we might go through at school, things that might make us a little sad, like maybe someone doesn't say our name the right way or we feel left out. But how even though we might feel those things and experience those things, we won't always feel like that. There are friends out there who are going to like us for who we are. And when we share our stories, there's going to be people who want to get to know us even more. And those people are going to be the people who are your true friends. The people who like listening to your stories and admire you for being you. Okay, friends. Well, before we move on to our craft, go ahead then and share some things about yourself. Go ahead. Tell me your story. Maybe what have you been doing so far this summer? Wow, well that sounds really fun. And what are some games that you like to play? Maybe outside or at recess time or in your own home? Those are really fun, and I bet you that we have some things in common too. All right, well, let's check out the craft inspired by this book because it's a fun one. So, the crafts inspired by the day you begin are these. Welcome, the day you begin crafts activities. And you'll notice that this is kind of like a door, like the door on the cover that Angelina walks through on the cover. And on this door, it says, welcome the day, and then you can put your own name here. I put Joji, my friend, or this one has Maya on it for me. And again, remember, there's one that's in color that you can print out, or there's one that's black and white that you can color in yourself. You put your name on it, and then when you open the flaps, it has different spaces for you to fill in your own story, information about you. For example, your name, where you're from, what you did over the summer, what your favorite lunch is, what you like to play, what you're good at, and then you'll realize that when you open all the flaps, it shows a picture of you, because this is you. This is your story all about you. So these fun activities that you can cut open, these flaps, and fill in color or black and white for you to color in yourselves can be found on my blog, MaiStoryBook, by clicking on that link below. There you'll also find other reading resources and craft ideas, so go ahead and check them out. If you do make your own crafts or would like to share your own back to school adventures with me or summer adventures with me, please reach out. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, on the blog, email. I'm even on TikTok now if you want to follow for some bookish fun. All of those social media links can be found down below. Also, please be sure to subscribe to MaiStoryBook's YouTube channel to keep up with all of our interactive read-alouds. I can't wait to share some more back-to-school reads with you and to go on all of these reading adventures. So go ahead and click that subscribe button down there below. All right, my friends, so that brings us to the end of today's read-aloud. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed spending this time with you. And until next time, stay safe and healthy and happy reading.